Here we go. Another episode of Unfiltered Copenhagen. And this time I'm the one opening the episode. So I'm going to say that I'm here with my lovely friend Ford.
Yeah,
How are you, Ford?
I'm pretty good today, Dolph.
Are you?
I've been on vacation all week, so I just sit around and do nothing, play video games, and not have to go to work.
You look full of energy.
Well, I mean, last time I took those caffeine pills, I was like really wired. Not this time.
Not very wired. And you have some allergies, right?
Yeah, I just took some Benadryl.
It's I know a bunch of people that when the spring, I guess, starts here in Copenhagen, they actually get I don't know, runny noses or whatever the fuck it is that happens. Luckily I don't think I have any of those things. But what is it? Is it? It's not like having a flu or
No, I think it's something about the pollen here. They have the like a lot of birch trees, and yeah, it just makes your eyes really irritated and itchy, and you want to like rub them, and it makes them watery, and then it makes your nose like just produce a lot more mucus, like kind of when you are sick and your nose just won't stop running, or you kind of feel like that itch in your nose where you got to kind of scrunch it up, and then
Mhm.
you feel like you're going to sneeze like all the time, but maybe you're not going to sneeze, but it's just kind of miserable,
So it
actually.
feels a bit like being sick.
Yeah, you feel some pressure in the sinus area, like in the front kind of triangle of your face or whatever that
Mm.
is.
Do you know how common that is among general people?
Pretty fucking common, I think. I don't know the percentage, but a lot of people suffer it. I've been getting ads on YouTube for that shit all the time. It's like a Danish lady that's like, "Here's 5 tips for, how to deal with allergies." Of course, it's in Danish, but yeah, I get it all the time. That targeted advertising fucking works.
I've been getting some weird targeted advertising lately.
I've never searched for like I don't think I've actually searched for any allergy related shit ever. I really don't think I have. So I don't know why I'm getting targeted allergy shit, but they must know.
Do you visit any websites or just
Yeah, of course
where to buy?
Not really. I buy the shit at the pharmacy. I don't look it up online. I mean,
I don't know. It's kind of creepy sometimes how
It-
these
it
the
is.
companies, I guess, they just advertise shit to you that like, wow, I was thinking about this last week. I didn't do anything about it. I had a dream about it, and all of a sudden you see it popping up on your browser.
Well, we talked about that thing where if you have if you have Facebook or anything installed on your phone, you could just put like Spanish radio on and set your phone next to the radio. Just play Spanish radio for 2 hours
Hmm.
and see if you don't start getting advertisements in Spanish. Like not even doing it, just set your phone next to Spanish radio, and then over the next few days, see if you get advertisements in Spanish, and you will.
Yeah, so they're just
They're
listening
listening.
to
Yeah,
listening to your surroundings.
I guess so.
That's creepy.
I think it's Facebook does it.
I've gotten it. The other day I honestly can't remember exactly what ad it was, but when I browse at work, I'm always in private tabs and incognito, and like every tab by itself, so no cookies, no history, no anything.
Yeah.
And I still get some fucked up ads. I don't know if they go by IP. I still get some ads that I'm like,
I see a lot of Russian dating ads.
you do?
Yeah, like it's not all the time, and I don't know why. Because I've really never seen too many Russian dating ads in my life. But up at the office,
Mm-hmm.
even on
Oh.
even not on my computer, but even on like other office computers, sometimes like we'll be on the conference machine or something, and you'll pull it up, and there'll be like Russian dating, like. So I'm wondering, like, who's checking that out?
So you think we're just being profiled by other people's computers, like
Yeah.
from IP
What
or something
other
like that?
people's behavior is in the office? I don't know.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit safer because at least I know that those
So, well, it's
ads are
not
not
me.
for me.
Yeah, because I know the kind of ad profile I get from a home. Like I'm pretty conscious about stuff. I don't allow JavaScript and all that stuff on most pages, but I'm not overly fucking paranoid because I know at the end of the day, like you can do as much as you can, and you still really can't prevent it if you
Mhm.
use Google or YouTube or any kind of services like that. Like you're gonna get profiled, so I just kind of let it happen because honestly, it's sadly also quite convenient when you go to Amazon and you buy like a microgram scale, and then they recommend some little capsules, to go with it.
Well, to be fair, I mean, if you want a microgram scale, you
You-
want to weigh
Some small
really
things.
small stuff that probably you're going to put in capsules. It's not like they're blatantly saying you're a drug dealer or
Or
anything.
sorry, it's a milligram scale, not microgram, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I
microgram,
mean,
that would be too expensive to.
but I mean, and you
Yeah.
guys take like supplements, like legit stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or stuff that's legal, and you buy like the powder and then cap it yourself
Mm-hmm.
after measuring it for your body weight. Which is why I'm saying this, because I think I remember our good friend Shaban said that he had went to buy a scale and he was like, you per customers also purchased, and it's like the full like drug kit. It's
Yeah, if you go to Amazon and if you look up that if you look up a scale or something like that, you will see
it's
capsules and.
it's amazing how well those algorithms work. Because like sometimes you're like, yep, that's exactly what I needed.
I mean, to be fair, I will assume that a lot of people who buy a scale will buy the
Capsules
capsules
and
as well. And if you have an algorithm looking for stuff like that, I mean, after I don't know, hundreds and hundreds or thousands of people do
purchase
that, I
it.
mean, yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of need to be dumb to not recommend that.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing is, I don't trust Amazon reviews anymore.
No,
That shit is all fake, I think.
all of it. No, it's not all of it.
Okay, a lot of it. I mean, there was a period. I think there was some like Federal Trade Commission investigation and all that, and it was amazing because they give out free things to people to be a
Mhm.
reviewer, and
Mhm.
it's like so obvious that they want you to give it a good review to get free stuff.
So you think?
The manufacturers are
No,
like
I mean,
complicit in it for sure.
I know that happens. I know that there's like top 50 reviewers, and Amazon even advertises it. There's like they have a little
Like
icon,
a legit reviewer
yeah,
program.
something like that. And I do know that companies send them their products to review. Do you think they only write good reviews though?
For the most part, yeah. I would say if you looked at a sample of the people that get stuff for free like that, I would say at least 60% are skewed towards positive. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then again, you can also say, well, are 60% of those items actually maybe good
Maybe
or
they might
worth
be
it?
good, yeah.
But I mean, I wonder if you could do like a placebo type test with reviews. You know what I mean? Like basically take the same product and slap a different branding on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Just
there needs
pretend it's another brand or.
man, that would be an interesting area of research, actually. Like, that's something I would just like to do as a hobby. If I could just create my own little prison experiment, except with like reviews. Because, I'm like so maybe with like audio gear and stuff, I would just like white label some shitty and good audio gear and see what people actually think of it.
Do it.
I'll never,
you
I never
can
will.
make
It requires a lot of effort.
It requires some money, it requires some effort, but you'll reap big benefits for it. You'll become the one that exposed the how do you call it, the conspiracy, the online conspiracy
Of the gold monster
product
cables.
reviews.
There was actually a guy. I don't know if we talked about this before, but there's a audiophile forum. It's called there's one called headfi.org, which is like a high end headphone thing, and I think there's a few others. And there's all these people that say, oh yeah, if you get this preamp, it's got a nice warm vintage tube sound, and the warmth is just so good, and they like write all these things. And at the end of the day, like scientifically, sometimes this isn't measurable and actually good, and sometimes it really might sound better to you or not. But there was this whole, I don't know, rage about $10,000 cables and $50,000 preamps and all that stuff. And there was one guy who's like an electrical engineer. I think to this day nobody knows exactly who he was, like his real identity. And he was a member on the forums, and he always argued with these people like, look, you're caught up in all this marketing hype and bullshit and the fact that it must cost more money to be better. He's like, I'm going to create an open source, like a simple electric design that will be like the best preamp mathematically and measurably that you can have for a headphone. And he did, and it's called the ODAC, which is like the Open Digital Analog Convert. ODAC is the digital analog conversion component, and then O2 was the amp. And so he just released this design to the world, like this hardware design, open source, free to use, but you can't modify it. I forget what license it's under. And to this day, I have one, the O2 DAC or whatever. A few companies started making them from his design after, and he just disappeared. He just left it as like a final fuck you to the forums and just disappeared.
But you use a public
He,
Like you have the real name, not like the
he
Bitcoin
had a
guy. Or...
no, he had a username, but I don't think anybody knows what his real
Okay,
identity
so it's
was.
like the Bitcoin
It's
guy.
like a pseudonym. Yeah, he basically just created it. Like, here you go. Here's your
Mm-hmm.
gift to the world, and just left. He was like tired of all those people just being like, "Oh yeah, you need like these tubes and this."
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool because it's recommended as one of the best bang for your buck headphone preamps. It's only like maybe $200, 200 euros ish, and you get a pretty badass headphone preamp that's like clean, non-colored,
Is that something you think will
electrically
last
simple.
forever, or the technology
Sure.
will make it obsolete in some
No,
years, or what?
I think audio itself is
At it already at
it's kind of like batteries. You need a real revolutionary breakthrough
Mhm.
to make any significant difference.
Yeah.
So as it currently stands, I think audio is like at the pinnacle of where it can be. I don't know what will make it much better. Some stuff with those planar drivers that they've done that are like different from the typical drivers, and they are pretty amazing. But beyond that, I mean, that's already exists. So I don't know.
What makes it like that, like at its best? Is it if you listen to something through speakers, it will sound exactly the same as if you listened to, let's say, the sound you originally recorded naturally?
Yeah, I guess it's the faithfulness to the true reproduction in all the frequency ranges. In other words, like what you're aiming for is to have the flattest frequency response possible. So like if at 20 hertz the signal had, I don't know, point 0.1, negative 17 decibels of
Mm-hmm.
sound and whatever, like you don't want, like some headphones and speakers are colored. In other words, they have more mids or more highs
Yeah.
or whatever, and that's not a desirable experience. Some people like it when they have a really bassy headphone because they like to listen to bass kind of music,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like a personal preference. But from a from an
Audiophile. Yeah.
audiophile perspective, or like a studio engineer, you want the frequency response curve to be as flat as possible, so it's more accurate to the source material. But with speakers, then it's not just the speaker itself; it's 100% like more the room that it's in. So speakers are very hard to do because it's not just the speaker; it's the actual whole listening
Mm-hmm.
environment. Whereas headphones, at least that's kind of controlled. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You don't have all the other reflections.
But it sounds then to me that there's clearly an end point where it's like, okay, we can't get any better than this because this is as real as it is.
Yeah, diminishing returns too, right?
It's not like, I don't know, optics where you can always make a lens that will see further away or something like that.
Well, I guess it's probably similar to lenses because I mean, seeing further away is one thing with zoom, but the other things are like optical image quality, amount of light gathered, chromatic aberration, vignetting. That's what happens at the edges, like of the image, because you're trying to put a round lens and transpose it onto a square or rectangular shape on a sensor. So some of the stuff on the edges is getting cropped off and you're losing part of it. But as the lens curves on the edges, some of that curve may be applied to the area that's cropped. So you have this little bit of a circular effect like vignetting or chromatic aberration on the edges of the image where, and you see it especially in wide angle lenses where the thing in the center of the frame looks thinnish but kind of normal, and as you get to the edge of the frame, like people's fingers start getting warped and really long or weird looking. Have you seen that?
I don't know if I've noticed. No, I
Okay.
mean I know what a fisheye lens is.
Yeah,
and how it distorts.
but that's kind of the effect that happens natural even on regular lenses at the edges. Is
Mhm.
that fisheye style effect where things get warped because of the geometry. So it's not just, I guess, in lenses how far you can zoom and see and stuff like that. It's also the optical quality you can get.
Yeah, but there's a clear, for example, in terms of glasses, you can if your vision gets worse and you get the glasses, you can actually get lenses that will make you see better than you originally saw.
Absolutely.
So and that's the comparison I was trying to make with audio. That at some point audio is going to be like, okay, this is as close as it is to the real sound, and
Yeah.
there's no improvement after that, unless you want to boost certain frequencies, like you were saying earlier, like people.
Well, I mean, that's interesting though, because part of it is also dependent on your human hearing. I think what we've gotten to is a point where the actual hardware, like the lenses in like glasses, for instance, or the speakers in headphones or something, I've come to a point where they're so good that the human ear can no longer really like any further, and it doesn't even matter because the limit is now the human
Hmm.
rather than the thing. So maybe that's the actual limit we've kind of hit, where we need to really hit some like bionic implant.
Yeah, you need to.
Because if you have a certain amount of, like you were saying, you can get glasses that make your vision better than they were normally.
Hmm.
But that's not necessarily true, because your optical sensor in your eye, like your retina or something, might be damaged to a point where there's only a maximum you can really improve to.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I guess what I was thinking of was when I had laser eye surgery, and I remember that when I finished, when I was done with it, my doctor tested my vision, and I was actually seeing better than what I saw. I don't know if he said I saw better than 2020.
Sure, that's possible.
That's possible, right? I
Yeah,
think that's what he said. That's like you see better than
Mhm.
pretty much an average person that never had issues with eyes now.
Yeah, my grandfather was an eye surgeon. He was one of the first that I don't know if he was the first, but he was among the group of some of the first people that practiced cataract surgery. I think in the 50s and 60s, or whenever it started to become more like they had basically found out a way to kind of remove cataracts or solve that problem.
Do you know how they did it?
I think the original stuff was actually cutting portions of the cataract away
With an
physically
eye,
with like a scalpel. Yeah, like
Oof.
yeah. So it was a very delicate
Yeah.
procedure. And he had, I don't know if he pioneered something there, but he was definitely among the first group of practitioners that were doing that pioneering surgery. So he was always like, oh, you're going to poke an eye out, like that kind of protective.
Yeah.
Because seriously, once you lose your eyesight or damage your eyesight,
No, you're fucked.
never going to get it back, and you can't take that back.
I think I saw some probably clickbait stuff on Facebook that said you might actually be able to fix blind people,
One
so
day,
to say.
yeah, with like bionic or like some sort of interface with the brain, maybe. But what I was getting at
Mhm.
with that is that when he would always test my eyes, and it was funny because when I was a kid, I really wanted to have glasses. I thought glasses looked really cool, and I wanted to wear glasses. Like because I felt you look like some people
Smart
some
guy.
people just look more natural in glasses, or like
Mhm.
smarter, or more, I don't know, authoritative or believable or trustworthy or something. And
Yeah.
it just, some people's face, it fits better. Because we got a friend that jokes he looks like a truck driver with his glasses off and a master's student with them on. And anyways, I really wanted them. So every year, like I would go to his office, and we'd test my eyes. And they were always, I don't know if it's the correct term anymore, is 15/20 or 20/15. But like 20/20 is not perfect vision. It's like the average. And what it means is that, as far as I recall, what it means is that at 20 feet, you see what a normal person can see at 20 feet.
Mhm.
And then like 20/15 is like you can see from 20 feet away what most people can only see at 15 feet away. So
Yeah.
like you have an advantage. You can see
Mhm.
even 5 feet further. So yeah, there are people who have even sharper vision than the average, right? Of course, I guess that's why it's the average. But yeah, mine was always better. I've got like really good eyesight. Even still, I don't feel like it's degraded really
And
at
you
all.
never had any issues with eyes
Never.
for someone who works with computers and spends so much time in front of one.
No, not with sight. No, not at all. I do sometimes get like eye fatigue, like when
Mhm.
you have your eyes really open and plastered and looking at the screen for a long time. But I think that usually comes more from dryness. You know what I mean? Like not blinking enough, or seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you're just not blinking enough, but
You're so focused for it.
like a laser focus.
Dude, when I had my eye surgery, when I went to the first what you call not consultancy, what the first
Consultation.
consultation, English. When I went to my first consultation, I was asking the doctor a few questions just to ensure that he kind of knew what he was doing. And but the first thing that I noticed was that he wore glasses himself. So I got a little bit apprehensive. Like, why, if you believe in this technology, why do you wear glasses yourself? And I actually asked him this. I asked him, why do you wear glasses yourself? And he was like, he laughed and he didn't really tell me. I think he just kind of said that he doesn't care about wearing glasses. But he told me that he had kids and he had performed eye surgery on them. I don't know if it's true or not, of course,
Yeah.
but at least that.
Well, also, I mean, as somebody doing the surgery, he probably realizes that. I mean, now with the advancement of lasers and the computers that assist those guys, and they already calculate the perfect shape of the cornea and all the things that need to be adjusted to get it to perfect. I mean, it's ridiculous now the amount of assistance they get from all the computers and
Mhm.
stuff. But also, it still is a delicate operation. And when you do it on other people, you probably have a pride in your workmanship and a craftsmanship that you want to do it right. You know, some people are just like that. Most people, I think, that are good at something and they want to do it right. But in the back of your mind, you always think about that guy that made your burger real shitty at the restaurant. Like he didn't even give a fuck. And so you're going to have to go to another guy to get that surgery. It's not like you're going to do it on yourself. So maybe he's worried that if he goes to somebody, that it needs to be somebody he can really trust and knows that they're going to do well, or he might think they might accidentally, because you can slightly fuck up your vision doing that stuff too.
Yeah, the thing is, if someone, it's such a, like, if one of these surgeons actually fucks up one of their clients' vision,
Hmm.
they might just never again be able to either to get clients because bad word, the word of mouth will just
Maybe,
spread and
maybe, but then sometimes that's a situation that might not have been anticipated or was not really able to be. You know, sometimes things go wrong, and not at any, maybe not through any fault of the surgeon. Maybe the equipment malfunction. You know, I mean, and are you gonna blacklist that guy forever? I mean, if he has a history of it, maybe. And the other thing I was gonna mention
hmm
too is that with glasses, you have more versatility, right? Because you can correct to be able to see farther, or you can correct to be able to see closer. And with all the different lenses and polarization, you can see to cut through glare and like basically see
yeah.
through water. So it's funny. My whole family was in the eye business in some way or another. My uncle owned an optical company where they actually basically my grandfather prescribed the lenses and the correction and all that, and then my uncle ran the lab where they created all the actual glasses. They ground the glass down to the exact specification and put the correct coating. And if you're ever like if you're interested in like stuff like how it's made, those videos where they show you like
Yeah,
how,
all stuff is built.
holy shit, man, making glasses is so fucking cool. It's a
Why?
complicated, well, there's a lot of complicated parts. There's a lot of steps and stages. Like you need to first fully clean the glass or plastic if you're because there's acrylic and then there's glass and there's different composites of all that stuff. And so you need to fully clean it, and then there needs to be like a rough shaping done to cut the initial shape, and then there needs to be like a perfect curvature applied in a different cutting machine, and then you need to clean it a lot again between stages. And then one of the final things is putting on the coatings, where they basically put that in there and they gasify some fucked up chemicals and bond it to the plastic, and it has to be perfectly clean, like not any contaminants. Otherwise, the coating won't correctly adhere to every part of it. And then sometimes they need multiple layers of coatings, and they have to be put in the right order. And then yeah, you have to have like kind of a final quality pass and put them in the actual frames. It's actually really cool. If I don't know if there's like a how it's made on glasses,
There must be.
but it is a really cool process. And he was a smaller shop too, so they maybe there's less automation.
hmm
In other words, like there's more things done slightly manually, or maybe the machines they have are lower volume where they can only run one pair of lenses or 10 pairs of lenses through them at a time and stuff like that.
So you say it's handmade. We've had a discussion about stuff, handmade
Handmade
stuff.
versus hand assembled. Well, yeah, it would probably be more a blend between the two because they get the blanks from big companies like Bausch and Lomb and all these other companies that they basically make a blank lens that is the material pressed into a bigger, I don't know, like a blank. Like basically this is where you start and then you remove material to make the lens you want.
hmm
So it's like a larger chunk of acrylic or plastic or whatever glass they're using, and it might have a rough shape of like an oval or like a circle, depending on that. And then you have things like bifocals and trifocals, where different parts of the lens have different magnifications and focal points and stuff like that. So you can look down to read and up to see normally. It's crazy, man.
You're very knowledgeable about this, Ford. I'm
I've got-
I'm a bit surprised, to be
I
honest.
mean, my family was that was like a lot of their business on my mom's side, and I never like my cousin actually worked there.
Mhm.
Some days I would just go there and hang out in the office with them because I was a computer guy and I helped him a lot with some of the computer. They used Linux a lot in the
Why?
because those machines require like high stability, precision, can't go down. Downtime is really
Interesting.
costly, and also think about it, those lens blanks can sometimes cost, 50 to $100. So if the machine crashes in the middle of a cut,
It's all gone.
you just fuck that
Yeah.
blanks up and you need to redo it. And you can't really recoup that cost from your customer because you're the one who fucked up. So
Mhm.
you still have to provide that lens at the cost. And yeah, so I helped him with some Linux stuff and all that. I think he sold the company to some really big Japanese firm though that was buying out all the US smaller lens manufacturers. So I don't think he has it anymore. He was ready to retire anyway.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you were so
I
much into this stuff.
I always wanted to wear glasses too.
That's really strange.
For a period of my life, I just wore the fake ones, like when I was in my early 20s or
but with
something.
lenses.
Well, not corrective lenses.
No,
just,
no, but it's not just not just the
yeah, they just looked
the
like
frame.
Yeah, they just looked like I needed glasses. They just had no correction. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like a
but-
hipster thing or
But
false.
there was still a lens there,
a fashion
a glass there.
Yeah, but it was just a fashion accessory.
Dude, I started wearing glasses when I was in 5th grade, I think. I cried so much because I didn't want to wear glasses. I don't know why. I really didn't want to wear glasses.
Our other friend, the carpenter,
Yeah.
he I think he's got like a trustworthy, intelligent look with glasses. Like I think it suits him. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see him if I picture him in my mind with glasses and not glasses. I feel like the natural pick is like, okay, that's my friend,
Oh,
the one with
okay.
the glasses. Don't you think?
I don't know about that, but
Oh.
I've known him for what, 15 years or more.
Yeah.
You know, I've known him his whole life.
Did he always
without-
wear glasses?
No, he
or-
never wore glasses.
He still doesn't really wear them.
No.
Does he wear
just
contacts?
sometimes- No, nothing at all. It's
So
just-
he just has kind of like slightly messed up vision all the time, and then every now and then he decides to
I
like.
think it's when his eyes are tired or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm biased because I've known him for a long, long time and I never seen him wear glasses. But I think generally speaking, I think I always find that people look better when they don't wear glasses.
Really?
I think so. I mean, there's certainly something to be gained. I'm not saying that as soon as you put glasses, you look worse. That's not what I'm trying to say. Because there's a lot of people who, when they put glasses on, it still suits them.
Sure.
And it might even give them an extra edge of some kind.
Yeah.
But I think I always like people to look better if they don't have
Natural.
glasses.
I
And-
think there
and-
were some studies done that said you're more hireable if you wear glasses. Like people,
Oh, that's interesting.
there's a measurable difference in the reaction from a potential employer
hmm
if you wear glasses versus not. They've done a lot of studies on it
I could see that.
because
I
they
could see
feel like
someone-
you're smarter, maybe more responsible, maybe
Yeah.
more mature, maybe something. I don't know.
even for some reason, even maybe I don't know if this is something that employers actively look for, but maybe subconsciously you look less threatening if you have glasses on.
Sure. Yeah, I think so.
Man, I hated it. I cried like a motherfucker. And from what my mom says, I can't recall this exactly, but my mom says that it's when she told me that Bill Gates wore glasses that I kind of like, oh, okay,
Lightened up.
I guess it's okay then.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
So is
but-
Bill Gates
but I
like one of
believe-
your idols? Or was he when you were young?
No, but I
You
was
looked up
I was
to
a
him?
computer nerd back then, you know. So at least when I was in 5th grade, I guess that was one, if not the only name that I associated with
Computers.
computers and success and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Talk about success. I think he's one of the maybe second richest man in the world. I don't know if he's first or
I
second. I think
I saw something about Jeff
yeah,
Bezos
Jeff
just passing
Bezos.
him.
Yeah, I think just passed him. That's crazy, man.
I mean, seriously, the amount of money that was, how like
It's not
they could spend like I don't know $20 million a month
like
or
it's
something like that,
like,
and they would still just make money just on interest from
yeah, they would
all the
never.
rest of the money they
Yeah.
have or shit like that.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it boggles the mind at a certain point. Like, because really, at the end of the day, all you need is a roof over your head, maybe some form of transportation, and for most people nowadays, a computer.
Yeah,
Like, you could just have a place and a computer, and like you'd be good. Imagine all the just, and I don't even think those guys live a particularly extravagant lifestyle relative to how much they make, right? Because they
Mhm.
could own their own country and have some like Kim Jong Un type shit where
Yeah.
everybody worships them. But I mean, they just probably buy like a decent mansion and a few homes here and there so they can move around and like a yacht to go sail on. Which I mean, whatever. I get it. At some point, I guess if you don't really have anything better to spend it on, although Bill Gates does a lot of charity work.
Yeah.
He's doing, I think, and he's also in the Warren Buffett club that those guys are going to donate everything they
Yeah,
have
like
to charity before they
98% or
die
something of their
and give almost nothing to their kids. I think
well,
that's
which almost nothing will
w-
still
will
be
still
an
be
extremely
yeah,
significant
yeah,
amount.
yeah. It'll still be more than they'll ever need, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I know that I'm talking from someone who doesn't have
Enough
E-
to
e-
do that
well,
with.
yeah, doesn't care that much about the money, or doesn't have the desire, I guess, to
Amass
or
that much money.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But why would anyone need that much money? Seriously, why? Just do something with it. I think what Bill Gates is doing is pretty nice. And when I was a kid, when I was younger, and there was all this hate against Windows and Bill Gates, especially like in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's
Yeah.
like I'm using Linux and I'm Windows sucks, and Bill Gates and the browser wars and shit like that. He was a bit demonized
Yeah.
in that era,
Sure.
but I've grown to really like him in the past 5-10 years.
He has really I don't know, gone through like a renaissance man period. I guess at some point he just realized that like at some point you realize all that money is not what's important anymore, and like someday you're going to die, so you should leave a legacy other than money. At least if you're any sort of decent human being, and like try to make an impact where it matters, like on people's lives, or yeah, try to be with your family and realize that that's at the end of the day what matters the most, and
When you have that amount of money, you can actually
do anything you want.
but even besides yourself, you can actually improve the world in a significant way,
Yeah,
like he's doing with malaria and with all that
I think it's fucking
Gates
awesome.
Foundation or Gates and Melinda or whatever.
Think about it. I think even today, if you could make an operating system or bundle some sort of operating system that was then basically monopolized or was like the world standard, because surely Windows isn't as far as we'll come. Surely there's got to be a better type of OS interface or some brain interface. Like imagine when there's the first operating system where you can just run programs in your brain.
That's scary for it.
Yeah, well,
That is
because
really
software
scary.
development isn't very
That
good.
is
There's going to
really
be some.
scary.
There's going to be
just
some bugs.
bug.
Yeah.
You're just gonna start twitching your leg every time you think about, I don't know, burgers.
Null pointer exception, and some malicious guy is going to ransomware all your memories.
Yeah, and that's not even thinking about viruses or stuff like
malicious
that.
intent.
Like I don't want my body to be connected to the internet or
No.
anything like that. But I could imagine that happening in the future.
Yeah.
I could
they're
imagine.
already working on it.
On your brain, on your body.
Yeah, like the brain, like a brain interface for a computer type thing. It's crazy.
It's very Black Mirror-ish. Have you seen Black Mirror?
I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a few that were really good. I saw the one about.
Don't spoil it.
No. I'm not going to spoil, but I can. The video game thing.
Which one was the video game thing?
Goes to be a tester for a video game company.
Oh yeah. With the mom thing.
With the mom thing.
There's a call. There's a phone call.
Yes.
There's a phone call.
That one. Yes, that one. I've also seen the one where basically at the end there's a drone.
Yeah, yeah.
That one is there's some like hacking activities going on in that one. That one's pretty fucked up.
And Black Mirror.
Uh,
I'm not much into sci-fi or
and and
fantasy or stuff like. Yeah,
and
go on.
and the social media one, like where it's all about
Yeah,
the likes.
the first episode of the third season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the three I've seen, and I really liked what I saw.
Oh, so you only saw the last season?
Yeah, I guess so. I was also very disturbed. Like I literally, in some of watching them,
Mm-hmm.
I felt uncomfortable.
Me too.
Like really, like I almost the reason I haven't watched much more is because I felt genuinely uncomfortable and unsettled or uneasy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I rarely feel like that.
I don't either.
Because even if something is, I don't know, extremely violent or extremely sad, like
Mhm.
genocides and
Yeah.
stuff like that,
You can disconnect from it.
yeah, at least okay, I'm watching a movie. The thing with Black Mirror is that I actually see that shit happening. A lot of the premises,
It feels so
they might
real.
not be here already, but we are very close to something like that happening.
Yeah, it doesn't feel distant. It doesn't feel like
It doesn't feel like sci-fi.
dystopian or sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like
It
okay.
feels like 20 years in the future.
It feels like if one thing was different 10 years ago, this what I'm watching could be what we are right now. Or like in 5 years, like this could be where
Exactly.
we are. That's what's so fucking unsettling about it, I think.
It's I'm not into sci-fi or into those kind of things, fantasy, sci-fi. I like reality, but Black Mirror is one of the best series that I've seen in a long time.
I need to finish it. I need to just kind of man up and finish it, even though it makes me feel uncomfortable. Because it was good. I need to also watch Mr. Robot. I never watched that. Everybody keeps
I've never seen it.
recommending that to me, which I'm sure it's good.
The thing about feeling uncomfortable is like I do feel uncomfortable as well. I think it's the same as when I watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Have you ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No,
Have you ever seen The Office?
Yes.
The UK or the American
US,
one?
yeah, the US.
But I think they should be the same. Like those series, a lot of people don't like to watch them because they're
make
so
you-
cringy. They
Mhm.
make you feel uncomfortable like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think that one of the reasons I like to feel uncomfortable is, well, first, it's a safe way of feeling uncomfortable, you know? It's
Right.
not like you're surrounded by 20 people and everybody's making fun of you or something like that, and then you feel uncomfortable like that. At least that, if you really need, you can turn it off. But it's an emotion. And I mean, when you watch movies and series, you want to feel emotions, right?
It's one of the biggest compliments you can give to the filmmaker or something, like when you actually feel like an emotional
Yeah.
thing that is brought out, because it's so easy to realize like some things are so obviously just fake and a movie and okay, I'm disconnected from it. But then when you really feel like, fuck man, this is tugging at my heartstrings or this is making me feel anxious or uncomfortable, it's like an achievement. And also, there's some songs that when you listen to them, you get that kind of, I don't know, some like feeling that it's like that song is defining or describing exactly how you are in that moment, or you can like completely connect with the feeling they had when they made that song. Like, one of those songs you listen to and you just get like goosebumps or like a feeling through your whole body, like a shiver or, I mean, that's an achievement for the composer or the songwriters.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best art is the one that actually makes you feel something strong. And I mean, it's the same reason why people watch scary movies or watch movies that make them cry or stuff like that, Like, generally speaking, you don't want to walk around and just suddenly start crying out of sadness.
No.
But you will put yourself through a movie that will make you cry or that you think might make you cry without really thinking about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's like some kind of safe drug thing,
Or safe release for an emotion. Like you can kind of feel an emotion and get it out in a healthy way. Or
I remember reading or hearing or whatever, someone, I can't remember who it was or where I saw it, certainly on the internet, saying how we as humans were always basically trying to change our state. Like whatever we're feeling now, we're always trying to change it. So if we're hungry, we're going to eat to
not
stop
hungry.
being hungry.
If we're sober.
If you watch a movie, you don't want to be in the same state. You want to basically get excited or sad or happy, or you want to have those fluctuations. If you take drugs or if you drink coffee, which is a drug, or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you
You're
want to feel
basically
different.
trying to change the way you are right now.
Sure.
If you're bored, you want to do something to stop being bored. It's
And how much do you think of that is wanting to feel like you're in control?
I don't think it's necessarily being in control. I think it's more like being alive. I think
Okay.
it's
Like what
similar
it
to
is to
why
be
some
alive.
people cut themselves. I never had this experience, and I personally don't know anyone who cut themselves. But what I've read is that those people just feel nothing. You know, there's just so much apathy, or they're so depressed. They're so just not.
They just want to feel
They just want to
something.
feel something,
Hmm.
and yeah, they're gonna feel pain and maybe some kind of release in some other way.
Hmm.
And I think it's very interesting how we, we do behave like that. You know, like nobody wants to just stay in the same state all the time.
Yeah.
Even when you're playing games or anything like that, you're trying to get that kick that you want to win. You want to
Feel different.
yeah, to beat other people up in the game or something like that.
Yeah. 40 minutes in, I don't feel like we've talked about any Copenhagen.
No,
But talking about feelings, should we talk about the art exhibit we looked at?
oh yeah, we found an art exhibit that at least caught my attention.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I guess it caught your attention as well because
It
you're
was
the one who showed
it
it
was
to
a
me.
little. Well, it just I just saw the headline. And
Yeah, should I read it? I'll read it for you.
go ahead and read
So
it.
Denmark's latest tourism showcase: a 29-year-old virgin in a glass cage. Performance artist Julian putting himself on display in 14 Danish towns over the next 2 weeks. So aside from the Little Mermaid, Round Tower, and the Marble Church, tourists visiting Denmark over the next fortnight can take in something a little out of the ordinary: a 29-year-old virgin in a glass cage. I mean, I can't not laugh or smile every time I read this. No, it's not Ron Burgundy holing in a glass cage of emotion. Not that he's a virgin anyways, but it's stupid.
This is
Julian Toldum, Danish scenographer and performance artist who is exhibiting himself in a number of Danish cities over the next 2 weeks as part of his Virgin Tour.
I like this quote.
A virgin is a person who has never had sex. Well, that's a bit reductory, but sure. According to all beliefs, the virgin is a magical being with supernatural powers. It is said that the virgin can walk through a swarm of bees without being stung, stare into the sun without being blinded, and the only being in the world that can tame a unicorn. Okay. It is written on the Virgin Tour Facebook page. Do you think that's true, Ford?
No.
I mean, we've all been virgins.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any magical powers when I was a virgin. But so this guy is going to go around to various cities in Denmark, and he's going to bring later in the article it talks about he's going to have a chauffeur, he's going to have some bodyguards, he's going to have a film crew, and they have a picture here of him in a cage with UV lighting, and he's. You know how a stripper gets on a pole and kind of hugs it with her thighs and holds herself up there? He's on like a tree trunk, like a branch in this fucking thing, just looking kind of goofy. And
but he's not really doing anything,
no,
right? He's just standing there.
Yeah.
It's like a moving painting.
And how can you prove that he's a virgin? You're taking his word for it.
Yeah, that's true. You can't really prove that, can you?
I mean, maybe if he had like gonorrhea and that was provable, you could try to argue that he got it from sexual activity.
But basically, the only thing that he's selling is the fact that he's a virgin.
Yeah.
And he's 29. That, I guess, being a virgin at 29 makes it a bit more harder to come across, but still not impossible. I'm sure there's
well, yeah, I mean, like the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah, they made a
that
movie
whole
out of
movie.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's certainly people that maybe just never got over that hump, you know?
But still, it's going to be a very minute amount. I don't even know if that makes sense. It's a very small amount of the world population that had 29.
Yeah, so this is going to be in Frederiksberg. When?
1st of August? No.
Oh, it was already.
Oh, it was already.
4 days ago it was in Frederiksberg. And then a bunch of other locations if you're interested in seeing the...
Yeah, but it's all over Denmark.
Yeah, I know. It's all over Denmark, but I mean...
We can still see him.
Is he going to be near Skanderborg? No, he'll be in Svendborg.
Maybe. I'm sure some of those cities might be close to Skanderborg. Because we're going to Smukfest next week.
We are. Yeah, we should talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess you do what you got to do to get your name out there,
I
right?
just don't understand
He's got a Facebook
what
page.
makes this appealing. It's for me. It's not much different than someone saying, "I am a guy who never ate honey, and I'm going to
Hmm.
put myself in a cage, and you can watch a
Yeah, you
32-year-old guy who
come
never
see a
ate honey."
guy. Well, it's all about the marketing. I mean, this guy could probably sell water to a whale.
I love it.
You know?
Sell water to a whale. I love it.
Yeah. You never heard that?
No.
What are some other ones? There's a bunch of sell something to a something.
Yeah, I mean, I get the formula behind
Yeah.
it, sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just never heard it. I think it's also funnier than just saying sell water to a fisherman or something like that, which would maybe be more sound
Water
more normal. But
water
whale,
to a whale.
is it because of the alliteration?
I
That's
think it's
probably.
also the yeah, it's also the alliteration. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
if
it's actually probably about the same excitement level as when if you went and saw The Little Mermaid, because it's not like that's very exciting either.
yeah, but at least the Little Mermaid has a backstory to it.
This guy
This is
does
just a
too.
guy
He's
who
never been fucking
it's just a guy who never had sex,
ever.
who claims.
Yeah. I mean, do you see the way he's sitting on that branch? Take some
I
some
don't
skill.
get it. At least, like, if they say that it is said that the virgin can walk through a swarm of bees without being stung, maybe you should bring a swarm of bees and just have them inside the cage.
That's not a bad idea
That'd
because
be much more interesting.
that cage will probably be stationary for a while, so you'll have a chance to set it up. This is a little. I'm going to take a little bit of a detour because
Yeah,
we're
go
talking
on.
about bees
Go
and
on.
getting stung. The the Aztec Stadium, I think it's Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, is where all the big soccer teams play.
Mhm.
And I watched a lot of Club America back in the day when Mimo Ochoa was still their keeper, and they still had like Salvador Cabañas before he got shot, and all these star players. Because I watched a lot of Mexican soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. And this stadium was huge. I think it could seat like 120,000 people or something. So it
Mhm.
was always just roaring. And there was a time they were playing a match, and the opposing keeper or team accused them of having put like a wasp's nest or like a bee's nest at their goal, because he was like swatting away bees the whole time, because all these people in the crowd were just, like raging, and
Yeah.
it's just vibrating, and it's almost like when they had that, what was the World Cup they had with all those fucking vuvuzelas, that fucking
Yeah, it's South
horn.
Africa. Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, but that kind of
Mhm.
buzz created, and I guess the bees were pissed off. So, anyways, this just made me think when you talked about that, like you could kind of sabotage them with bees. That maybe, I mean, the Mexican players were kind of dirty in a way. Like that, the Mexican league is the reason now that you have all the referees that use the shaving cream that mark the line where you can stand behind for like the penalty
Yeah,
kicks and all
yeah.
that. And
Free kicks. yeah.
it's a great idea. Because before they would just kind of point to an area and be like, stand behind this, and all the guys would
and as soon
shuffle
as
up
they,
and
they turn around, the
Yeah,
referee turn around, they would.
and that was so prevalent in the Mexican league that they basically some entrepreneurial or just
Mm-hmm.
enterprising referee was like, fuck it, I'm just going to get a can of shaving cream and mark it.
Yeah.
And it, like, I was always impressed, like what a simple solution, that it was so good. And I was like really proud to see it in the Olympic or in the World Cup stuff, because I had seen it for so long in Mexican football, and the first time I saw it outside, I was like, yeah, it just makes sense,
I think it's very interesting how there seems to be a bit of an aversion to in football,
Changing the game.
not to changing the game or the rules, but just to make it, just to have technology aid with referee decisions.
Yeah.
Like in football, there's a lot of like
Instant replay.
yeah, or like offsides. It's so often that there's an offside marked and
And then they go back and
people
review
yeah
it.
review and then it's not an offside.
And they don't do that now. They still don't have any sort of instant review in football.
Anywhere. No. It's basically the decision that is made at the time.
It will stand.
It's will stand. And sometimes if the referee makes a decision and then one of the linesmen actually sees that, oh, you were wrong, he might call him out and tell him, and the referee might change his decision. But that's basically that's still a decision taken only within the people in the field, like within the two linesmen and the referee, there's no use of technology for, and seriously, it's the biggest sport in the world, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And it's so controversial all the fucking time
Mm-hmm.
that
There's a lot of accusations that, yeah, this ref, and I've seen matches where I felt like sometimes the ref made a bad call and he knew he made a bad call,
yeah.
and he tried to like make up for it, right? By like not calling something else he should have later.
Oh no, that's
or
terrible.
giving the other team a bit of a like a, okay, sorry, I fucked up on that one here. We're going to give a yellow where we might not have normally. It
Yeah.
felt like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you don't know that that's true always. And of course, people are so dedicated and loyal to their teams that they're going to blame everything except the team or the performance. I think part of the reason there's a big aversion to using the technology in football is because, I mean, the game, part of the reason I love the game, and when I played it when I was young, but I never really followed it a lot professionally, because in the US at that point when I was growing up, soccer wasn't really big anyway. And then when I really started to develop an appreciation was when I started watching Premier League when I was in like my early 20s. And I got to see kind of like I guess the beauty of the game. And the coolest thing to me was that the game basically goes on for 45 to 50 minutes unchecked without like a commercial break and pauses. Like the
Yeah.
game is just constant. And if you introduce like all the time you're going to have like an instant replay review, then everybody stops doing, okay, let's let the referee check and all that. And like, for instance, if they made an offside call and it was wrong, then they can't just necessarily stop right there to check it, because then the flow of the game breaks and all the players that might have been in a good position to go on an attack with a long ball that was, are no longer there. And also, if they check it and review it and 2 minutes later they find out, okay, that call was wrong, how do they really reset? I mean, does everything that happened in that 2 minutes get nullified? Does it stand, but they get a different position?
You have a point. You have a point for it, but it wouldn't take that long. I mean, you would have, let's say, a fourth referee, which they already have. They call it the
Monitoring
fourth
the
referee.
cameras or something.
Yeah, just outside of the field. He could be I mean, of course, if you call an offside and then it turns out that it was a bad decision, you can't just resume the game the exact, like, okay, all the players now go to the same position, and you can't do that, of course.
Right.
But what you can do is, if
Offer a free kick maybe from there, or like a reset, like the start of the game where one side starts with the ball.
yeah, you can do something more. Yeah, give the ball to the team, some kind of
consolation, basically.
Yeah, or even, which I think it's the worst, like if there's an offside and there's a goal scored, you can take the goal away. Because, I mean, during the time that they're celebrating, the players are celebrating, and before the game resumes, you have enough time to actually see if it was an offside or not.
What about the times where What about the times where they pass the ball and it leads, they call it offsides, but it wasn't. So they call it offsides and the players stop going for the goal.
Yeah.
So it could have been a goal, but it was called offsides. And then they later review and find out it wasn't.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying this would solve everything.
No,
I'm just saying that it would probably improve.
Yeah. I think there is absolutely some need, at least in certain situations, for some sort of review, especially on those ones that are offside but cause a goal.
Yeah.
But aren't called. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes it really is offside. It's obvious on the replay. The goal stands, and one goal in a football match is impactful.
Oh, it is.
As fuck. I mean, some games don't even go. Some games just go 0-0. I mean, you're lucky to score a goal in some games, depending on if you're playing in a very defensive
or
league.
if a foul is right at the edge of the goalkeeper's
penalty
area,
box,
the penalty box,
and it would have normally been a penalty kick, and instead it's just a free kick.
I mean, that's easy. That's not different than the tennis players having that camera that will tell you exactly if the ball fell within the box or not.
Or what about corner kicks? I mean, isn't there's a lot of jostling for position in there?
That's difficult.
Yeah, I think
because
that one's
everybody
hard.
is basically just pushing each other.
But
away.
certainly with handballs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you could confirm whether it was or wasn't a handball. That's often, but
the game would already be stopped by then. It would be difficult to.
Yeah, and then also a lot of those tackles and fouls, like deciding whether a yellow or a red. Like I think you have to be careful about how much you introduce because
Hmm.
then basically every flop or tackle, there's gonna be, everybody already goes to the ref with their hands out to the sides, raging at him. Oh, did you see this guy fucking hit me? That should have been a yellow right there. And it's like, you better watch your fucking mouth. I'm the ref. It's like I can almost in my mind just picture exactly like if these guys were mic'd up during the game.
Hmm.
They have an NFL, like American football, they have a thing called mic'd up, where they basically put a microphone on all the players.
Really?
Yeah, but they can't. They don't keep it hot. Like they review what
Okay.
they say. Yeah, because those guys are like savage, like toxic. Like
but
telling each other they're
but
gonna.
it doesn't make a difference for them when does it affect their playability?
No, they do it in a way. It's pretty cool how they put the lavalier. I saw some article on, I don't know, Vice or something else that's
Hmm.
showing. No, actually, I was on an audio engineering subreddit and somebody was talking about asking a question how they mic up the players for that. Because when they get hit, wouldn't that jostle the mic or
Yeah,
create a really
yeah.
bad sound? And some guy said he actually worked on that there and told how they routed the microphone and everything. It was kind of cool. But it's interesting if you ever watch any of those games where they're mic'd up and those guys are just talking shit to each other while they're playing the whole time. And you don't think about that all the time when you're just watching it on TV and you can't hear them. But those guys are down there like throwing stingers, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's kind of like how some of the
I'd like to hear.
MMA fighters they
I,
taunt each other
I,
during the fight as well.
hasn't there been times too? Because the referee has the mic where he can turn it on and talk about the call or whatever. There's been times where like sometimes something was overheard on the mic or like the
Mm.
mic was off and it was broadcasted a thing. I don't know. I'd like to see like a proper rivalry football match, like maybe a Premier League game between some fucking rivals that just hate each other with them mic'd up. I just want to hear it.
I mean, that would be funny, but that would be basically turning it more into a soap opera than a sport, right?
But isn't entertainment all just some form of drama that you enjoy?
Sure.
There's suspense before the goal. There's a goal scored. I mean, it's just I don't know.
I'm not totally dismissing it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it might go a little bit overboard. So it becomes more like Jersey Shore and less like
Oh, and they have to censor everything out probably too. So much cursing and all that stuff.
becomes a reality show.
I love it, man.
So this virgin guy, that's pretty much the only thing that
Yeah, there's going to be a virgin. He's going to be in a UV lit box. He's going to be holding on to a branch. Apparently, Fredericksburg Kommune kind of
sponsors
official.
this.
I don't know
or-
if they sponsored it, but they certainly didn't tell him no.
well,
I mean,
that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, so you're saying Fredericksburg didn't ban him?
I mean, they can't be the tastemakers. Who decides what's art? I mean, it's what the people like and what
Oh,
the artist
sure.
creates. So, I mean, I guess if this guy really proposed to them a proper project, like, hey, here's my virgin project, they probably felt like, okay, let's just let this crazy guy do his thing.
Sure.
So there you go.
I'm probably not gonna go.
I'm
But,
not. I'm not like clearing my calendar, but if he happens to be somewhere and I'm walking by, I'll just take a peek
Yeah,
and see
he'll
what all the
look.
buzz is about. So there you go.
All right.
Should we look
That's,
for some other stuff?
Yeah. What else do we have here today?
This one looks a little boring. I'm just gonna skip.
Oh
it.
yeah,
Oh.
that's Pride of the City.
Pride Week.
The Pride Week is when is it kicking off on August 15? The 5-day event will not only be about fun-filled activities, great music and food, but also about affirming the dignity, equality, joy, and identity of Denmark's LGBT community.
Yeah. So every year in August they have the Pride Week,
Yeah.
and there's people out in force. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's like parties going on everywhere. I think it's just a great time in general, whether you're part of the LGBT community or not. Like we have friends. I don't.
Do we?
Do we?
Well,
No, I'm
I don't
saying
know if-
no. What I'm saying is, I don't even know if we have any friends that are gay.
Well, I do have
Oh, at least at work, like in our circle at
No,
work.
no,
I'm not
no.
sure that we do.
not
But those guys end up going out during Pride just because of all the crazy parties.
Oh, yeah,
and I
it's-
think it's like they just go out and have a good time because
Mhm.
it's just nuts everywhere in the city, drinking and debauchery and dancing and music.
it's just a good time basically. Every
Yeah.
time the streets are full of people, it's fun and especially if the weather is nice.
Feels
of
lively.
course, it's just an excuse to be out and drinking and
But I think it's one of the
Having fun.
bigger Don't you think it's one of the bigger, like, kind of pride or LGBT events in Europe?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be
It
surprised.
seems like it is. I mean, I always hear a lot about it. I mean, I'm not even on Facebook, and usually even like a month before it comes, like I start hearing either something about it or oh yeah, it's about that time of year again, you know. And
Well,
so,
but you live in Denmark, so you
sure,
hear about it.
oh yeah,
I I don't know how it is compared to other places except Portugal, but I know that Portugal doesn't have anything even close to this. Probably like Germany or other big countries might
yeah.
have
I
something.
think Germany. There was I don't know if I saw some article or some sort of video. Um, oh yeah, we were looking at some articles last week for news, and there was something about the one in Berlin. Remember, we watched some video of a guy in a pig, like a. It was crazy. Actually, what drew me to the thing is this guy was in a pig like gimp mask. You know those leather masks they wear that like close their face with like a
Yeah.
ball gag in or whatever.
Hmm.
He had the one that looked like a pig. Remember, with
I
the
do not
pig ears
remember
and the
that.
snout. It was like a leather snout that came out. You don't
I
remember
don't
that?
remember that.
We were looking at it last week when we were looking at stuff to talk about on the show, and I think it was in like DR or something. There was a thumbnail of a guy with a pig snout leather mask.
No, unfortunately, I don't. For
Yeah.
it sounds kind of scary to tell you the truth.
It did look a little I think that's part of the reason I clicked on it, is because it looked like disturbing. I was like, I've never seen like a gimp mask. Like
It looked like a
when I say the
pig
gimp, I refer to that scene
in Pulp
in Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction with the guy in
Yeah.
the whole leather get up. Um,
You know what? I think if it wasn't for Pulp Fiction,
you wouldn't know.
probably
You
half
would
of the people that know
what gimp
what
mask?
GIMP is or means
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It was certainly the first time I heard it for me. Else GIMP would just be a image editor.
Mm. There you go.
So what else is there? Like on the Pride Week, did they say anything else?
It doesn't
there?
say anything. Just dressed up in colorful costumes, thousands of participants and their supporters will attend the festival to send a message of love, peace, tolerance, and inclusion. Whether gay or straight, rich or poor, young or old, black or white, the Pride Week is set to welcome anyone and everyone. Oh, there's a website here. It's
It's also
Copenhagen Pride.
CopenhagenPride.dk.
I mean, I guess we can look and see, because it's probably like the jazz festival where they have a bunch of like venues that are going to be supporting
Mhm.
and doing things maybe. Yeah, all you need to know about events, debates, performances, parties. Okay, the Pride Week program. Human Rights program will take place on the Rainbow Square
Yeah, that's right next to Holly's
from the 15th to the 18th, and for entertainment on Pride Stage at the Pride Square, City Hall Square.
Yeah.
So Rojas Plaza, right?
Yeah.
And then, so take me back to here we go. Take Me Back Tuesday is the 15th of August. A night full of golden oldies, unforgettable songs, and sing-along tunes. Wednesday, To Copenhagen with Love. Oslo takes over Pride Stage to serve you a yummy selection of their most shiny rainbow stars, hosted by Oslo Pride. Next day is Under the Rainbow, open air concert with up and coming LGBTQ artists, headlined by Nabiha. It's Danish.
I don't know. I don't know.
Then there's Drag Night. That's the 18th of August. Local and international drag performers will take over Pride Stage in a fierce show, headlined by Katya from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 7. Then the Parade Day and Pride Show on the 19th of August marches through the streets of Copenhagen, finishing off with a big Pride show or on the Pride Stage, headlined by Peaches. I don't know if this is from California or from Canada. I feel like maybe it's from Canada.
It might be Canada. Peaches.
CA, yeah, they have the CA abbreviation. That
Yeah,
can
I mean,
mean.
I know who Peaches is. I just don't know if she's from Canada or not.
And then after Pride Chill Out on the 20th, lots of smorgasbord, rainbows, drinks, and music at Kulbuen on the final day of Pride Week.
So
There you
that's which day is 15?
15th is a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It says
so
Take Me Back Tuesday. I assume that it's
Yeah.
a Tuesday. So
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
all the way to Sunday.
Nice.
It's pretty cool, man.
I've never actually. I mean, of course, I've been around because you just have to walk on the city to.
Yeah, I've
around
never
it.
gone to the actual, I guess, official thing, but it's just everything's happening in the city at the time. It's like even if you don't go to
Yeah, you
the
can't avoid
area,
it, yeah.
it's just, I mean, Pride Week is like the whole city is in effect.
It's a bit like distortion
Yeah.
in that sense. That if you go to a specific place, you just can't avoid it. It's just
Yeah.
people on the street having fun, partying.
Well, there you go. What else we got? We're going to Scanable for Smookfest.
Yeah, Smookfest.
That's the
It actually
beautiful festival.
starts tomorrow, Sunday.
Does it really officially start tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there's the first. I don't know if it's concerts already, but there's at least stuff happening
Like tents and people
tomorrow.
getting set
or
up. And
events or no, but events even.
we should look at the headliner. Let's refresh who's going to be there because I don't even know who's going to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
not that I actually care that much. It's not about the.
Jamiroquai is gonna be there. That's the only one I actually.
Oh, and we're going to see
No.
him because he's going to be on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
Wednesday.
normally we only go on Thursday. But where the hell is the list of performers?
I don't know, but you can see it here on my iPhone app for it if you want.
Yeah, I could do that info maybe. Oh, are they still doing? Okay, they're doing the armband thing again.
Yeah, so you
Uh,
pay with the. You basically have cash associated with the armband.
Oh, about that armband, yeah. I had such a hassle with it last year. Like getting money on the thing was no problem. You download the app
Mm-hmm.
and then you put your credit card and I think you need to preload like, I don't know, a certain amount of crowns. So I put 500 crowns on there thinking I'll probably buy $100 worth of food and shit, you know? And I didn't use nearly that much. I maybe used like 100, maybe 200 crowns. I don't remember. But I had like 300 crowns left. And I tried to transfer it back to my account and like the app didn't work because it wasn't either activated yet or something. And then I forgot about it for like months. And then I started getting mails from them saying, look, like we're not a bank. We can't hold your money. You need to give us your account so that we can transfer you your money back. Okay, fair enough. So I logged into their thing and I tried to send the money back to my account. And every time I clicked it, the submit seemed like it didn't do anything. And eventually I got it so the submit seemed like it did something. And I thought that I had like transferred my money back and it was going to be fine. So another month goes by and they're like, look, we're still not a bank. Like we're going to start charging a fee and then eventually just take your money if you don't get it out of this account. And I was like, what the hell? I already did this. So I tried to do it again and it still didn't work. And I felt like, okay, something's wrong. The fucking browser, like Chrome didn't work. Like I had to use Firefox or some other browser.
Chrome
And-
didn't work.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? You know, like at least make this simple form work in all browsers. It wasn't that complicated, you know?
Yeah, it's not like you're asking for some.
Active JavaScript shit to load or whatever. Just literally putting a number of a bank account to send it to in and hitting submit. So I don't know. Whoever the web devs are of Smookfest, if you're listening to Unfiltered Copenhagen, you guys did a shitty job on that portion of the site. And maybe the
Well,
site in general, because I can't even find where the program is.
Having said that, I didn't have any problems with getting my money back.
Yeah, well.
But I don't use Chrome, so
Yeah. Oh,
that
what?
might have been the reason.
You don't use Chrome?
No, I use Firefox.
I find Chrome is more responsive and uses less memory. Look at
It
this
might be.
picture of a guy on a toilet.
What does that mean?
S-
Finua Lihela.
Oh, he said, have you ever wondered or have you ever thought to seek the finest gold toilet in the middle of the forest with 50,000 people? Here you can, overnight in something. What? It's Danish. It's hard. Take a shit on a fancy toilet.
Doesn't
or
matter. Yeah,
something.
that looks like a good toilet to have if you're at the festival. I
Bill,
don't think.
like Bill Gates would have this toilet. There's gold accessories and everything.
Yeah, I think
marble.
if Bill Gates was a rapper, that's probably not fancy enough. You know, you actually
Yeah.
need more gold or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Bill Gates strikes me as the kind of guy that would use a regular toilet.
Well,
Just nice looking.
okay. I still don't. Okay, music. Here we go. Here we go.
There you
Here's
go.
the plan. Wow, that was tough. So it really does. It starts tomorrow. Mount Ego, Sundays, Pelican Beach. I'm not going to read every name because it's a bunch of small ones.
Yeah, nobody knows any of those.
I don't know any of these either.
No, I know.
Okay, Tuesday, these are all going to be small names too. But then Wednesday,
Wednesday,
right?
that's when it starts.
Okay, so Wednesday, official open. And then you're going to have, okay, that's Thursday. Wednesday, you're going to have Rasmus Seebach. I assume he's
Yeah.
Danish. LOC.
LOC.
Isn't that a rap?
Yeah,
Like a hip hop Danish?
It's pretty popular.
I think we saw him last year. It was pretty decent. Jamiroquai. That's a big name.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe lost a little relevance in the past few years, but Virtual Insanity was a big hit for them.
Yeah, like in late 90s.
I think recently one of the members died, actually. I want to say.
Okay.
I'm going to see if some death affected some of them. Founding member of Jamiroquai, Toby Smith, has died at age 46. This was in April of this year. So I guess he's not going to be there.
I think that's a fair assessment to make for it.
Yeah, it was with great sadness to hear and relay the news that original Jamiroquai keyboard player Toby Smith died on the 11th of April. And they gave him a moving tribute.
Yeah.
Wonder, did it say how he died? I kind of always like to at least see how they died, you know? Maybe that's some morbid shit.
You don't
It auto-completed cancer, but I don't know if that's right. He'd been battling an unspecified form of cancer for years, keeping former bandmates and friends in the dark on its progression. Oh, man.
Yeah, so it looked kind of sudden because he never
said anything
never
about
said
it
anything
to them.
about it, huh?
I guess if you have it, man, maybe there's sometimes you want to say it, and then sometimes you don't want to burden people. You might feel like that's some depressing shit that people don't want to hear about. Mark Ronson, I don't know this person. Is it electronic music?
Yeah, that's probably electronic.
Sounds like
if it's closing the big stage, it's probably
oh,
electronic.
okay. Superstar DJ and producer Mark Ronson.
Yeah. They always close with DJs nowadays.
I bet it's probably because it's easier to close out the set like that.
You think it is?
Because you don't need as much teardown, or like you don't need as much. I guess you leave the stage in a way because they pretty much leave all the DJ equipment back there, and probably they leave a section of mics. But for each performance, they probably need to bring out a different set of mics and cables and stuff. Whereas like the DJ thing is pretty much permanent. They're just gonna have some CDJs back there unless Skrillex comes and has his own custom setup. We saw Skrillex there 2 years ago, right?
Or 2 or 3 years ago.
And I thought it was going to be a shitty show based on my.
Yeah, me too. I actually enjoyed it.
I never liked anything Skrillex did when I heard it, like on headphones or just I like listened to whatever popular shit people were playing then, and it didn't really. I never identified with it or cared about it. But I will say that he put on a badass live show. There was people really jumping and moving, and I was like actually kind of feeling it. Which I didn't expect to be. I thought Dead would be good, and Dead Mouse was like a snooze fest for me, whereas the Skrillex show was decent. So it was the total opposite of my expectations.
You can be surprised as well when you go to a festival.
Yeah.
Which I hope that will happen because I'm really not excited in the least for any of these names.
I hope so too. Yeah, I'm looking at some on the other stages. I don't know. I don't see anything that stands out to me. Let's look on Thursday. They're having an Anders and Anders podcast live.
Yeah, should we have a
little
Unfiltered
debut
Copenhagen podcast live as well for it?
It seems like it's going to be hard. Major Lazer is going to be there at 1:30 on Thursday evening. And Suspect. That should be a good show where he's got like a primetime spot, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, but I feel that they're there every year.
They are. But I mean, that's because people like them.
I guess.
I mean, think about it. There's only so many Danish hip hop artists, right?
It's not just that. I feel that they put like Smukfest puts close to zero effort in
changing the lineup.
In the lineup, I think mostly because the tickets this year they sold out within 3 or 4 hours. Like the part out tickets for all the days, they sold out within 3-4 hours of being put for sale before they announced one single artist.
Yeah, nobody cares about who plays.
Why are they gonna worry about bringing better names when they'll sell all the tickets anyway?
What are these? Aphixion and Faustix. These sound like some electronic music names. No, this is death
melodic death metal.
Oh, Aphixion. It sounds like some. Yeah. Okay, so some death metal. All right.
At 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Not really what I'm up for. Faustix is a legendary top 100 DJ from where? He's got some tracks here they list. Okay, so whatever. It'll be a mix of some generic poppy shit that's really popular, a few artists that are in other genres that are considered sort of popular, and then a bunch of unknown Danish stuff or like slightly known Danish, and then the really popular Danish stuff. I guess Kim Larson's not going to be here this year.
Not this year. Sort Soul is going to be there. I think they just came out with a new album or something like that. Okay. Either this year or last year. Yeah, they're up there at 045 on P3. Left.
Oh.
Left again.
Oh,
up.
Sort Soul. Okay.
So they're closing the P3 tent on
and who's
one
that?
of the days. It's a very famous Danish rock band.
Okay.
And I guess they've been inactive. I don't know if inactive, but I think they've been inactive for a long time. And in the past year or so, they came out with a new album.
Yeah. So I'll probably Ellie Goulding. That's a big name.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's a
that's
big name. I mean, I'm not saying
yeah.
I think out of all the things I might see,
There's Nick and Jay as well, which I feel they're out there every year.
yeah. So I'll probably see like Suspect and Major Lazer, maybe Ellie Goulding, Jamiroquai, LOC, maybe.
I'll see whatever is there when I'm hungry and I go get some food.
Fair enough.
That's my plan.
I think that I'll probably if I feel like going up there, those are some of the names that I might actually consider. Like, okay, I guess I'll just go check it out. But for me, and I think for most of us, it's not really about the music there. It's about the environment.
No. It's a really nice place because it's in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there.
It's really nice, and it's actually kind of hilly.
Yeah, and in the city too. Like we have an office there. Like our job actually has one there. But there's like we're on a lake, and like we can just go out in the backyard behind the office and just sit out on the grass in front of the lake and listen to music on our nice Bluetooth speaker and just chill.
We have our own festival.
Pretty much, yeah. Because the other thing is there's not a lot of. There's like a few kind of like areas you can sit, but if you've been standing at the festival for like 6-7 hours getting drunk all day, like sometimes I just want to fucking sit down, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting old, but
No, I've noticed that because I went to Hoskilde this year for the first time, and one of the things I've noticed was, or that I got jealous of people, is that I saw some people carrying those garden chairs, you know, like those fold-up
the
chairs.
ones that you can fold out like a little tripod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, next year I need one of those.
Shit, I might.
It's so useful.
Might not be a bad idea to just bring one out there.
Especially if it rains.
For when we're sitting out on the thing. If it does rain, like just having a little seat out there.
Yeah.
I remember one year some people had some lawn chairs. Remember there was
true.
We should get like
I should
some
bring
little,
one of those. They cost like 100 krona, I think, or something
cost
like
nothing. Just ask Heinrich where he bought them because he got the best deal in the world on them. He said he talked him down. Actually, I got a story about this. He went to one of those outdoor shops because he's like a survivalist kind of guy. It's like he's gonna buy some shit for the nuclear apocalypse. And well, I joke, but he's kind of that like campy outdoors guy. And he's also a real stickler for getting a good deal. And he has a few different methods. One of them is kind of telling him the item is shit and he doesn't want it and he wants to pay less for it. But usually instead he tries the positive approach where he tries to build him up. So one time we went to like a place to get a fläskesteg sandwich. I think it was in
Christiania.
Yeah. And he told her like in Danish, he was like, wow, I heard like you guys have like the best fläskesteg sandwich in the city, you know?
Which is true, by the way.
I agree. Although some people dispute it, but
sure, but
whatever.
It's not like, but he wasn't just lying for the sake of trying to get something.
So he kind of pumped her up, like, "Wow, this is the best fläskesteg in the city," or him, yeah. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to get fläskesteg. Oh, by the way, can I get double meat?" And like, you know, he did it in a way that kind of just slid right in. And the guy's like, "Yeah, no problem." He's like,
but he didn't ask for extra.
I think he did.
No, I was there. I got like,
really?
The guy he gave. The thing is, he basically just kind of.
He
rubbed his ego,
juiced him up a bit. Yeah.
And then he got a fläskesteg sandwich, and I got one as well, and we were clearly together.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the owner for like 30 seconds or something, but basically just saying how good and how better the fläskesteg is than anywhere else. And I guess the guy thought that he brought me there, you know? So like, oh, we brought a new client.
Yeah.
And he just got one extra slice. He cut it in half, and it was half for me and half for him.
Nice. Okay, so he was telling me the story about how he bought one of those chairs. And it was supposed to be, I don't know, like 600 crowns. And it was like a special gold camouflage one. And it wasn't the color he wanted. So he kind of like basically told the guy, look, it looks like you guys don't have the color of the chair I want. And I mean, I would buy it, but I'm not going to pay 600 for the one I don't want. So like, you need to sell me the other one for 400 or whatever. And so he talked the guy like 100 or 120 crowns on some outdoor chair like this that we're talking about. And in the end, he actually didn't care about the color at all. Like he was just, you know, he's just fucking with the guy. Like, no, I don't like that color very much. It's just a chair. Who cares? Anyways, he felt like he got one over on the man, and
he's very good at it. I think he does it more for the challenge, than necessarily
to see if he can do it. It's not about the money, except it like if you can get it and pay less, he's like, well, okay, that's a win. But yeah, it's more about the challenge of like being able to talk a guy down.
Dude, when he was with me when I bought my first like real guitar. Like I bought a Martin, and he brought the price down for
Significant.
well, yeah, for maybe 2,000 krona or something like that.
Holy shit, that's significant.
It was and I think I got like some extra strings or just some extra thing.
So maybe what we should do is talk to him on Monday and have him like we're gonna get a group buy, right? Because you and me will probably buy. I'll buy a chair if you buy one,
I'll think about it.
and probably maybe one other person might buy one. So we can have him go in there and use some of his negotiating skills and be like, "Look, I wanted to buy 3 chairs, but the colors aren't right, and also I'm buying 3, so you're gonna need to
Dude,
cut me a
for
deal."
for 100 krona, I don't know if I care that much.
I
Also, I'd probably rather buy them in Scannable.
And not have to bring 'em?
Yeah, because then I don't need to bring them in the
But think
train.
about it. Where are you going to buy them in Scannable? There's one sports shop there, but do you think it's going to be in stock of chairs? Like all
We'll
those
see.
people in
If
tents?
it's not, then I stand. It doesn't matter that much.
All right. I need to take a piss.
So
And it's,
you want to take a break for it, or you want to?
well, if you want to,
We're 1 hour and 20 minutes. Do we have any other articles here?
yeah, maybe you can talk about some of these articles while I take a piss, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know about which one. Which one of these do you think you want to talk about the most?
They're all kind of boring. I can talk a little bit about this one because I know
What
I
else?
know where.
Or this one
What is that? The oldest tattoo shop.
in Denmark, or
He's
the
Danish.
oldest tattoo shop in the world is Danish.
Yeah, fuck that. Show me the other one before the tanks one.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I'll drag this down, and I'll be
Yeah,
right
that's
back.
fine. I know how to use a computer for it.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
But this is just an article, basically. Tanks on the street of Copenhagen. But it's a bit clickbaity because apparently there's not really any tanks on the street. There's just a bus with a tank painted on the bus like an ad. And I felt really cheated when I saw this because I've actually seen tanks in the street in Copenhagen during culture nights. A few years ago, I think the Danish defense, they brought a tank out to the street during culture night, and we could actually go inside the tank and just see how it is. And that shit is actually really small inside. I don't know if any of you guys has ever experienced being in one or seen how it is. That one was really small. You couldn't have a party there. Let's just say that. And yeah, and that's it. And this tanks on the street in Copenhagen, it basically just says residents and visitors to Copenhagen may have recently seen a frightening symbol of war prowling the city streets. A political themed buzz ad featuring a rap that transformed the buzz into a tank. I don't really know what the point of this article is, but I feel the campaign was designed to be taken more seriously. This is everyday life in Aleppo. Okay, so it's about the war in Syria. Reads the headline on the side, referring to the Syrian city devastated by the country's civil war. The ad created by the agency Robert Boysen and Like-Minded was designed to remind people that while the Islamic State has left Aleppo, the Syrian war continues and that refugees have a right to security from war and persecution.
Mm-hmm.
It can be difficult to that's your way of saying you're back. It can be difficult to imagine what it's like to live in a city where one fears for one's own and loved ones' lives daily. Therefore, we brought the everyday life of Aleppo to Copenhagen's summer cityscape so Danes can face serious, brutal conflict. That seems a bit, it's like a rich people's way of saying, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
I've experienced war now. I've seen
Yeah.
a tank painted on the side of a bus.
I mean, you can certainly do something. Maybe just randomly start have these just noise bombs just exploding every 5 minutes throughout the city.
Please
Just
don't.
noise.
Please don't.
I know, but that would bring some
Get people's attention.
Yeah, that would get their attention.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, it is true. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen any of these videos like combat footage and all that. There's some subreddits that have all that stuff. And I've seen some of those. And you just look at it and you're like, holy shit, there really is like an active war going on right
It's
now.
fucked up,
People
yeah.
just killing each other. And I mean, it's incredible the amount of devastation and just overall impoverished. I've heard some programs on like NPR like embedded, where you just hear the sounds of the war, and they talk and
Hmm.
describe to you like what's going on and everything. And it's hard to believe. Yeah, you're like sitting here in Copenhagen, somewhere one of the nicest cities in the world, and yeah, somewhere out there, there's people
It's
dying and fighting and struggling for just basic survival shit, and it is sad.
it's actually quite difficult to imagine, but yeah, it's just like we're here in your apartment, and if we're in Aleppo, I guess
I mean, I'm
at
not
any time a bomb could just drop, like a barrel of
a
gunpowder or
barrel
whatever.
bomb. Yeah,
Yeah, it could
they've
just drop and explode anywhere, really.
yeah, that Syrian regime. Boy, there's all this kind of internal politics. I don't know. There's been a lot of geopolitical posturing over it from Russia and the U.S. as well, and I think the U.S. usually finds regimes they don't like, and they fund freedom fighters, or basically what the regime calls terrorists. So it's this whole, who do we want to win? We're going to fund them and give them weapons. And yeah, I don't know the entire politics behind it, but I do know kind of the history of the way the U.S. does things. And that's generally, they find a regime they don't like, and they try to fund somebody to rise up against them and take over and install a regime that's friendly to them.
Yeah, and by friendly, probably sell oil at a cheap.
Oil, a
Like
cheap
I
price.
remember
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Saddam or someone else before that was it Iran that they wanted to stop using the dollar
To back
when
oil.
yeah, to back the
I
oil.
don't know if it was Iran. I'm not like a political history major or anything, but yeah, I think there was at one point some country in the Middle
Or
East,
Saddam, I think it was
or
Saddam.
something, they didn't, because the thing is,
So Iraqi.
when the price of a barrel of crude oil is tied to the dollar, you can control the price of oil by manipulating the price of the dollar, since it's no longer backed by gold reserves. It's just a fiat currency, which is just debt based, and they can print as much as they want. So basically, they can artificially change the price of oil to benefit them. And you have all these countries now just going into like huge inflation, devaluing their own currency to basically make it more expensive for other people.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
But I think it was Iraq or during the Saddam days.
mhm.
I don't know if that was the exact cause of the Iraq war or if that was
Yeah.
earlier, but
And
it's
surely there's probably more to it than just simply that in the Syrian thing.
oh, I'm sure there's something
But
that we're not really
whatever
aware
the
of.
political situation surrounding it, I mean, the reality is that there's people, yeah, living in here, fear of getting hit by a mortar or a barrel bomb every single day. No supplies, no food, no anything left really, and just hanging on by a thread, really, for
Yeah,
years now. I mean, it's been going on for,
it's been going on for a really long time
yeah.
now. Well, what we have has the US been in war in the past, what, 15 years or something? At least since 9/11, it hasn't really
Yeah,
stopped,
pretty
right?
much. We just always in war. That's the most financially beneficial to the country, to be at war all the time with something. Either
To
war on
certain people
drugs.
in the country.
Yeah, right. I know. It's. I'm saying it a bit tongue in cheek. You know my position on all this, but I mean, you had the war on crime, war on drugs, that whole thing. That was massively profitable to the entire legal system, the prison system, all the people that backed all those law enforcement related companies that made weapons and tasers and batons and handcuffs and all these kind of contractors. Not to mention the police forces themselves. Now that you have so much civil forfeiture where they can just take money away from people, even if they're suspected of a crime but not proven, they could just take it from you for any reason, basically, that they want. Then you had the war on terror. That's the next big war that massively profited pretty much every military contractor in the whole military industrial complex, as well as the people that make things like TSA body scanners, and yeah, propped up a whole nation of TSA officers and security officers to basically give free jobs to people that is just security theater. And then, yeah, now you just continue to have all these wars in the Middle East because, well, if you want to keep the war on terror going, you better create some more terrorists by fucking up everything that they're doing and making people hate you. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, I feel like, am I the only one in the room that thinks like this is pretty obvious why this stuff occurs? And it's like
I,
all part of either if it's not some Illuminati secret lizard people's plan, it just seems like everybody's a fucking idiot.
I think a lot of people are aware of it.
Yeah.
I just the thing is, okay, you're aware of it.
What do you do to fix
What
it?
now?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
what
I know,
now?
I
What
know.
now?
Yeah, what now?
You know?
I don't know.
And I think it's one of those things where there's a name like something about the bystander effect or something like that. You know,
Mhm.
when there's an accident happening and
And
there's a
nobody
lot of
does
people,
anything because everybody expects
everybody
somebody
expects
else
somebody
to
else to
do it.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need a
it
doer.
yeah, you need a doer, and then you basically need to get the people behind them.
Yeah.
Kind of like that thing in New York. What was the name of it? Occupy Wall Street thing. You know, there was a lot of traction behind it for a while, and then it kind of slowly died. And I don't know exactly why it died. It certainly felt that there was a lack of leadership there, or a lack of specific goals. But it's kind of discouraging when you have something like that where you do have a large amount of people wanting to make change or some kind of change.
And you just don't
But
feel like
then
you can get it done.
what can you do when you're
Everything's
protesting, but still it's not going to lead to anything because
Mhm.
I don't know exactly why, but let's just say because the people they're trying to fight against, they're the ones with the money and the power, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure if all those people there were were armed, the outcome would have been very different, not necessarily better.
No.
But yeah, what can you do without violence? You know, we're not all Gandhi.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Gandhi actually did, but
Yeah. I don't know. Sad state of affairs, but you can see a tank in the streets of Copenhagen during Pride Week.
I haven't seen
probably.
it yet.
I haven't either, but I bet it'll be here. For
When
the
is this
next,
from?
uh,
27th of July.
Yeah. So, I mean, they don't rotate those things that often. Usually, when you see a new graphic on the buses, it's there for at least a month or two
Yeah.
because they have the breasts or whatever. Like, that
Yeah,
was a,
that's the one I know. Yeah,
yeah, that was a big shocker. Like, when we came here for the first time, that they just had some bare breasts on on a bus, you know,
bus,
because the
yeah.
US is so prude about anything like that. Like, you can't even have any.
You know, I wonder what, for example, if there's like a really conservative family from the US who like let's say a Trump supporter or whatever. Let's follow stereotypes.
Let's go ahead and
Sorry.
get everybody
Trump
heated.
supporters. And they come to like someone would be entirely opposed to that, and then they see it here, like on the bus on the street, you know, like just bare breasts there. How would they react? I'm actually quite curious to know how someone, if would they get offended? Would they
Maybe.
just be like, "Oh, it's a different country, it's a different culture. I'll just ignore it this time."
I don't know.
So it's I don't get it.
Well, something to think about for when we're in Smokefest.
Smoke Fest, yeah, we're gonna be thinking about the bare breasts on buses and the tanks.
So should we? I guess we
You
should
look
call
kind
it
of
here.
tired now.
I'm a
huh?
little tired. Well, like I said last week, I took those caffeine pills. I was hyped up. I mean, I've been on vacation. I'm just chilling.
Yeah,
Just
that's
sitting
all
back,
right.
relaxing.
It's what 1 hour and a half, something like that around that.
All right.
We can do it for so next weekend might not be an episode, right? Or
Yeah, maybe not. I guess.
maybe we'll do one Sunday if we come back Saturday.
Maybe. Yeah, I could
We'll see.
possibly be up for that. Or we can try to record one like on the phone or something while we're there.
You're gonna hate it.
Well, I also don't know how well it's gonna like if I have enough space to even record 2 hours of audio on my phone, because you know the iPhone they always
Yeah,
give you the
that's true.
minimum storage one
Mhm.
now, and all the storage is taken up by apps and photos. And anyways,
We can try it.
we can
We'll
can
see.
try and see. It won't be up to my audio quality standards for
Oh,
sure.
certainly, but I think people can take it. I would love to have one, especially with a bunch of our friends
On location.
Yeah, and a bunch of our friends there, so we can finally have some guests here.
All right. See you next week.
All right, guys. See you next week, or not.